Hey adventurers, welcome back to the channel, or if it is your first time watching, I'm so glad that you are here. I know that it has been a really long time since you guys have last seen me, and a lot has happened. And so I wanted to just pop on here, and I've been wanting to film this video for several weeks now. I just never knew how to start it or what to talk about. And so since so many things have shifted so drastically in all of our worlds in the last little over a month, I thought I had a whole stack of laundry that I needed to fold anyway. And so I love Blair Lamb. She's one of my favorite vloggers on YouTube, and she had this really cool idea to do a laundry chat where she just kind of chatted with you guys and kind of, you know, just catching up with old friends, which is how I feel about you guys. So anyways, I wanted to just come on here and film a quick video and let's just catch you up to speed on what things are going. So if that sounds something like you might be interested in hearing, I hope you will stay tuned. Okay, so my gosh, where do I begin? I feel like we need to just like go back in time a little bit, or quite a bit, from the last time I talked to you guys. But so the very last video I filmed was the Run Disney Q&A videos, which were so well received. I loved all of the comments and feedback, especially, you know, for those veterans out there who have done plenty of Run Disney races. And so I know that you guys are probably asking, like, what the heck happened to you and why are there no Run Disney videos on your channel? The answer honestly is quite simple. So, and I think what I'll do, I might do an entirely separate video about the whole entire half marathon experience. But I did finish and it all went fine for the most part. It was a completely daunting and overwhelming experience for my very first race, half marathon experience. I will tell you that the heat and the humidity that we dealt with that weekend was just incredibly crazy, and I was not prepared for it. So I felt very, I guess ill-prepared is a really good sense of the word, I guess, to describe how I felt. But I loved the experience. I will totally do it again. I know many of you guys over on Instagram have been asking, like, when's your next race and are you gonna keep continuing to do it? I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know. It's incredibly expensive to do Run Disney races, which if you've never researched that, just be warned, it is quite expensive. But I really did enjoy the whole entire process of it. So I think moving forward in the future, I would do another Run Disney race. I just don't know if Marathon Weekend would be the race for me, the weekend race for me. And that's really just because of like the training schedule. You're training right at the peak of the holiday season, and it's really, I thought it would be a breeze for me with my work schedule, and quite honestly it was actually the opposite. So but it was all positive. It was definitely a very it was a weekend that I learned a lot about myself, about my fitness level. I learned a lot of things. I really think I grew spiritually and mentally because I pushed myself that weekend harder than I ever have. So I wanted to just give you guys a quick update on that. And the reason why there's no footage on the channel is because my SD card went bad. So yeah, there's that. I actually filmed the entire expo and that whole entire process. And then the night, you know, that night was like the night of previous to the half marathon. And I woke up the day of the half marathon, which was like at 2:30 in the morning. And you can already imagine, I had runner's nerves already. I was super excited. I had adrenaline fueled through my entire body. And then my camera wasn't working. So it just was really frustrating, and I was using a GoPro that I don't use all the time, and so it just, shame on me. It was like, you know, vlogger issues, like a total rookie vlogger mistake, not checking my camera equipment more thoroughly before leaving. So anyways, I know that there are tons of really great footage out there of other Run Disney races that you guys can definitely see. And I know that moving forward, I actually will feel really comfortable filming during a race, because now I feel like I've gotten a hold of what the race experience actually feels like. So I think it would actually be much easier in the future to actually film a video, because I feel more confident with it. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so that's the whole Run Disney. That's the story. That's why you're not seeing any videos. It's technology vlogger issues, and I'm really bummed about it, because I actually really wanted to be able to relive that memory, but it is what it is. And I know I could have filmed it on my phone. I know that some of you might be wanting to comment that I totally could have, and there were some little clips that I did film, but the thing is, like, the internal stabilizer in an iPhone is just not suitable really for filming a Disney race or any race of that magnitude. And so it just didn't look good. You could tell I was really frustrated, because by the time I picked up the camera, I think I was running through the Magic Kingdom or Transportation and Ticket Center, because I was feeling really, really good at that moment. But all of that to say, I think I would do another Run Disney race, and I'd love to hear from you guys. For those of you that have done Run Disney races, you know, how hard do you go? Like, do you do every single Run Disney race? Do you do just certain ones? Like, I know Princess Weekend and Food and Wine Weekend are really popular. I could never do Food and Wine Weekend. It's my job is really busy in the month of October and November, so there's no way I would be able to do Food and Wine. But I am contemplating doing Princess. Or Star Wars. We've been watching Mandalorian over the course of the past couple of weeks, and I have totally become a Star Wars person. So I would love to hear from you guys. What are your favorite Run Disney races to run? You know, what are your favorite increments? Because I did a half marathon during marathon weekend, and quite frankly, I don't know if a half marathon is my jam. I really don't know. I love the 10K. I think a 10K marker is really good for me, and I feel like I kind of want to just stick with 10Ks for a while, and then like maybe build up that momentum or that speed to be able to do the half marathon. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. So I know it's been a while. So I guess we need to just kind of fast forward a little bit, because that's where I was, and then we came back from our trip, which we had a week-long vacation at Disney after the half marathon, and it was just, oh, it was so magical. If you follow me over on Instagram, you will see some of the photos that we got. We went all out this past trip to get some of those bucket list pictures that everybody always wants. Typically, you know, Travis and I just didn't spend a lot of time trying to kind of check those off of the list. But this time we really wanted to get like a really good castle picture, which we did. And what was the Rapunzel one? That one was amazing. So I highly recommend, if you guys are going to Disney, whether it's your first time or your 5,000th time, if you have not taken, well, of course you can't do it right now because Disney World sadly is closed, but when Disney does open back up, and hopefully that will be something that PhotoPass keeps in their arsenal, but it's I'll insert a picture here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But it is one of the coolest photo experiences that we've done. We really loved it. We did have to wait for quite some time to get it to get the photo. I think it opens, so we went to Disney in January, and I think the photo opened, I think that the line started, we got in line I think at like 6:15, 6:20, and I think they opened it at 6:30, and by the time we actually got to take the picture, it was close to 7. So you do have to wait quite a bit, but I don't think, I mean, we don't do a ton of character experiences, it's just, you know, not what we really do during our vacations. So but if you guys do wait for the character experiences, let me know. Is that like an average wait time? I'm not really sure, but all of that to say, it was so worth it. So and then we got like an epic haunted mansion picture, which I'm excited about, you know, and even Travis is super excited about. And we actually had a couple of really good ones on Tower of Terror and on Space Mountain. So we've become a little bit of photo pass pros over the course of the duration that we had annual passes, which was really fun. So I'm excited for us to be able to one day be able to go back and hopefully be able to take some new photos on our next trip. So but speaking of the next trip, I did want to touch upon, because I know a lot of people have been talking about like canceling trips and, you know, all that stuff. So one of the biggest things that I wanted you guys to be aware of is that we actually didn't renew our annual passes for Disney this year. And there was a lot of decision making that went into that whole entire, you know, process of making that a decision of that magnitude. For those of you that don't know, I live in Georgia, so you know, annual passes don't come cheap for those that live outside of the state of Florida. And you know, there's a lot going on with my work schedule this year, and I was scheduled actually to do a huge chunk of traveling, which has now all been canceled, which I'll get to in just a second. So all that to say, we sat back and we realized it probably wasn't going to be a good investment to do like, you know, spending money on annual passes this year. We just didn't think it was going to be a good idea. So we decided against it, and who would have thunk that Disney World would be closed as long as it has been now. So I'm actually filming this, and it is Saturday, April 25th, and I think Disney World has been officially closed for over a month now, with no signs of reopening anytime soon. And so I did want to just kind of chat with you guys really quickly about kind of like the whole COVID-19 and quarantining and all that stuff, because I'm not going to go into like specifics, because you might be like me, maybe you go to YouTube to avoid some of the chaos of COVID-19 talk. I know I do. But, you know, Travis and I are perfectly fine and healthy. We have been we've been self-isolating, I guess is the better term for it, and social distancing since March, I think 15th. I think that's right. It was like a Sunday. And it was like right at the forefront in Georgia of like when it was getting really bad. And we're so very thankful and blessed, because we both work for employers who saw the severity of the issue and immediately put us into like working remote mode. So thankfully we have not lost our jobs. We are still being employed and paid. And I know many of you guys were worried about me because I work in tourism. So, but thankfully I work for an organization that we just completely had to totally shift the way that we were, just like everybody else. You just kind of have to think outside the box and be crafty and, you know, take a skill that you didn't have 30 days ago and figure it out. So like for me, I had to build a website completely from scratch, and literally, no joke, 36 hours. I got the call on that Sunday about making a new website for our community, as like a one-stop resource for correct information, because we kind of foresaw that that was going to be an issue. And it was awesome. It was the most exhausting 48 hours of my life, but completely, totally 1000% worth it. I have still loved, because we're still dealing with the issue right now and just keeping the local economy going. And so we've had to be very smart and thoughtful in how we do that. So, but all of that to say, you know, both Travis and I are very lucky and blessed that we do both still have jobs, and that we're still doing okay. We still have our health, and we are like many of you, where we are just stuck in our homes. And so we've had to do a lot with that. Like you can see, you're in a new space right now that you're seeing a new space right now that I'm filming in, which is actually our guest room. And I think I'm gonna do maybe a tour of it because it's like our lounge / guest room, which you can see like I'm on a bed. And then my office, my workspace where I'm at every single day is like right here to my right ear left. But it's just been, it's been a whirlwind, and I hope you guys are safe and okay. Please know, like, you know, for me, I go through waves just like everybody else. There's good days and there's bad days. The first 2 weeks were super hard, just like it's super hard for everybody else. But we've done really good with it. I mean, Travis and I have really relied on each other for when the bad is bad. We both can kind of see when the other one's not doing so good, and so we just kind of implement steps. Like we go for long walks around our neighborhood with Haley, or we'll like run to the store, or we'll go somewhere else. So we really kind of are very mindful and thoughtful of each other and kind of like how we're doing, and we definitely talk about it a lot. So and the nice thing is we have also figured out that we need to be creative because it gives us an outlet. It also helps us both to kind of get out of the chaos that we're surrounded by all day every day. So but all of that to say, I hope you guys are okay and that you're safe, and if you need any help, please just, you know, if we need to talk with one another or amongst ourselves or whatever, definitely let's start a conversation in the comments below, because definitely know that you're not alone. No matter when you're watching this or where you're watching this, like if you feel isolated and alone, just please know that there's a whole magnitude of people out there. There's a whole world that would love to embrace and love you and support you. And I am one of those people, so definitely do not hesitate to reach out if you are struggling, for sure. So, but enough with the heavy, right? That's so heavy. That COVID-19 talk is just so heavy. But to let you guys in on a couple of things that are coming up. So one of the things, I want to get way more consistent of filming on this channel. I know it's been incredibly inconsistent. I know I think I've said it on vlogs probably like 20 times, like I'm gonna get consistent. But last night I actually sat down and journaled out and wrote out like a whole entire plan, all these different ideas that I had, these different cool projects, DIY projects I wanted to film, you know, just different things, different ideas that I had, and I was really excited about it, which is, I think, the whole point. I think with YouTube, I had kind of lost my momentum there kind of like in the fall months. So all of that to say, if there's any kind of like content that you guys that either brought you to my channel, or stuff that you really like to see that I have filmed that you really enjoy, will you please let me know, because that's incredibly helpful for me to know the content that you guys like to watch. But I don't know, it'd be fun to just chat with you guys in the comments below and hear how you're doing and how you're faring, and yeah, what's going on in your world. On the Disney side of things, okay, so I had to change my camera battery because, you know, it's been a while since I've had to do any kind of filming. So anyways, the last thing I wanted to chat with you guys about is like upcoming Disney trips, because that is something that both Travis and I have been discussing at quite some length over the course of the last week or so. So we actually do have a Disney trip coming up towards the end of the year, and it's a doozy of a trip. It's a big bucket list doozy of a trip, and so I am praying as hard as I possibly can that everything will go back to somewhat of a normalcy by the end of the year. But you know, it's just so up in the air right now. It's just one of those things that's so up in the air. So all of that to say, I think one of the things that we have just been thinking about is, you know, what kind of trip do we do? Because, you know, it's a big birthday year for me in December. I know that I have talked at that like at nauseum, that 2020 is a big year for me for my birthday. So because I'm turning 40, which is a big number. And I kept saying like 2020 was gonna be my year. I was gonna start the year with a half marathon and end it with like either a Disney cruise or a trip to Disneyland, or let's go to Tokyo. Like we were gonna do some like big bucket list trip. and very quickly it has completely shifted, especially over the course of the last 30 days, because the trip that we actually do have on hold right now, I mean, the current situation will totally, I mean, it'll totally dictate whether we can go or not, because I think we were thinking about possibly doing a Disney cruise for my 40th birthday, which would be so exciting, but not so exciting when you're in tight quarters with thousands of other people and it's not necessarily safe to travel. So I don't know, we're in a weird predicament right now. So we've been kind of doing these like fantasy planning, Disney planning trips, from staying at like the Grand Floridian, which is like the highest, the top of my bucket list right now of places I would love to stay on property, to going to, Disneyland in California. Because fun fact, I've never been to Disneyland in California, and I've always wanted to go. So, but we did want to make Disney a little bit part of our, my 40th birthday, because we did Disney for Travis's 40th birthday. And so we thought it would be really fun to incorporate some form of Disney in our 40th birthdays, both of our 40th birthdays, because you feel still like a kid, right? That's what Disney does. It's the magic of Disney, is it makes you feel like a kid again, which is why we love going. So, but we both knew that, going to Magic Kingdom or Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando wasn't necessarily what we wanted to do for my 40th, but we did want to do something Disney related. So that's why you're hearing about, some of the plans that we had. So, I don't know, but it's gotten me thinking about some of these really fun trips, this kind of like fantasy, if you could plan your like ultimate bucket list, dream Disney vacation, what would that look like? So I'm really curious what yours would be. It would be really fun to talk to each other about like what everybody's favorite vacations could look like. So let me know what yours is. I'd be very curious to know. So, all right, I'm not gonna fold my undergarments on on the interwebs. So I have gotten through the first little bit that we needed to do. So I think I'm at like 20 minutes right now, so I'm gonna cut this off because I know I don't want to talk too much longer. But it's been really fun to just sit and chat with you guys and catch up a little bit, and please let me know in the comments below how you're doing, some ideas of some content you would like to see. Yeah, so it'd be really fun to chat with you guys in the comments below. So but all that to say, thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. I really appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, I would really appreciate you also subscribing. Like I said, I really promise you I'm going to be very consistent. I actually have an entire month's worth of footage coming your way very soon. So we're gonna do some cool stuff on this channel over the course of the next 30 days, and it's gonna be very different. So I hope you guys will subscribe and follow along with all of those adventures. It would be really fun. So but anyways, it was really great chatting with you guys, and I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.